There's a particular kind of person who moves through the world differently. They're not loud, not constantly surrounded, not always available. And if you've ever been one of them, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Picture a family gathering. Everyone's crowded in the living room, voices overlapping, laughter bouncing off walls, stories being told for the 100th time. And there, on the edge of it all, sits someone who's perfectly still. They're not on their phone, they're not fidgeting, they're simply observing, a slight smile on their face, present but not performing. When the loud cousin leans over and asks, "Why are you so quiet?" they just shrug softly, offering nothing more than a gentle acknowledgement.
The relatives exchange glances. They whisper later in the kitchen, voices tinged with concern. Are they okay? They seem so isolated. Maybe they're depressed. But if you looked closely at that person's face during the gathering, you'd see something the worried relatives missed entirely. Not sadness, not discomfort, something closer to peace. A kind of contentment that doesn't need to announce itself or justify its existence. They're not withdrawing from connection, they're simply choosing a different kind of presence. Or think about the person who visits the same cafe every Saturday morning. Always alone, always with a book or a notebook, a cup of coffee going cold as they write or read. The barista knows their order by heart. Other regulars recognize their face. The cafe fills with conversation, with friends meeting over lattes, with couples sharing pastries and inside jokes. And this person sits in their usual corner, completely absorbed in their own world, never once looking up with longing or regrets at the social symphony happening around them. To an outsider, it might look like loneliness, but watch their face when they take that first sip of coffee, when they turn a page, when they pause to look out the window at nothing in particular. There's no performance happening, no mask of contentment covering secret pain. Just someone who has discovered that solitude isn't the absence of connection. It's a different kind of fullness, and they've stopped apologizing for preferring it. Maybe you've been that person at the family gathering. Maybe you are that person at the cafe. And maybe somewhere along the way, you started to wonder if something was wrong with you. Because the world has a very specific story about what a good life looks like, and it always includes a crowd. Friendship circles, social calendars, constant plans, a phone that never stops buzzing with invitations and inside jokes, and group chats that move too fast to keep up with. But here's what I've learned, and what I wish someone had told me years ago. If you have few or no close friends, it's not because you're broken, damaged, or socially deficient. It's not because you missed some crucial lesson in how to be likable or interesting. It might be because you possess certain traits that are rare, misunderstood, and often mistaken for weakness when they're actually quiet forms of strength. And these traits don't make you less, they make you different. Not in a way that needs fixing, but in a way that deserves understanding. Before we dive into these 5 traits, if this resonates with you so far, consider subscribing. Videos like this one, the ones that speak to the quiet people, the observers, the ones who don't fit the typical mold, they don't always get pushed by the algorithm. They get buried beneath louder, flashier content. Your subscription tells the platform that this matters, that these conversations deserve space. It helps make sure content like this reaches the people who actually need to hear it. All right, let's continue. The first trait is this. You have an unusually high need for solitude to recharge, and you've stopped pretending otherwise. Psychologists call this being a deep introvert, someone whose nervous system processes the world more intensely than most. It's not shyness, it's not social anxiety, though those can exist alongside it. It's that social interaction, even positive interaction, even with people you genuinely like, drains your energy faster than it drains others. Where someone else might feel energized by a dinner party, you feel like you've run a marathon. Where others crave weekend plans, you crave silence. And you've reached the point where you no longer apologize for that difference. You've stopped forcing yourself to show up to things that leave you depleted just to prove you're normal. You've chosen your peace over other people's comfort with your presence. That's not antisocial, that's self-aware. The second rare trait runs even deeper. You have an acute sensitivity to inauthenticity, and you'd rather be alone than surrounded by surface-level connections. You can feel the difference between someone who's genuinely interested in you and someone who's just filling social obligations. You notice when conversations stay shallow, when people ask how you are but don't actually wait for the answer, when relationships are built on shared complaints rather than shared values. And here's the thing most people don't understand. You're not being judgmental or superior when you step back from those dynamics. You're being honest. Because for you, a shallow friendship doesn't just feel empty, it feels exhausting. It feels like performing, like wearing a costume of who you're supposed to be, instead of resting in who you actually are. So you've made a choice that confuses people. You've chosen depth over quantity. And in a world where most friendships are built on convenience and proximity, that choice often means fewer friends, sometimes no friends, but not emptiness. The third trait is perhaps the most misunderstood. You've developed a complete life that doesn't center around social validation, and that makes people deeply uncomfortable. You have hobbies that no one sees, books you read that you'll never discuss in a group, thoughts that unfold in private, in journals or long walks or early morning silence. You've built an entire inner world that's rich, complex, and utterly yours, and you don't need to broadcast it for it to feel real. There's a concept in psychology called internal locus of control, the sense that your worth and your reality come from within rather than from external approval. You've cultivated that, not because you're arrogant or self-sufficient in some cold way, but because you've discovered that the most reliable relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And that's not loneliness, that's sovereignty. The fourth trait shows up in how you handle social currency. You refuse to engage in performative friendship, the kind that exists primarily on social media or in group settings where everyone's trying to prove how fun and connected they are. You don't collect friendships like trophies. You don't maintain relationships out of obligation or fear of seeming weird. When a friendship runs its course, when someone shows you through their actions that the connection isn't mutual or meaningful, you let it go without chasing. Not because you don't value connection, but because you understand something crucial. Real intimacy can't be forced, and loyalty built on desperation isn't loyalty at all. Research shows that people with high emotional intelligence often have fewer but deeper friendships because they can distinguish between genuine connection and social performance. You'd rather have one person who truly sees you than 10 who know your name but nothing about your soul. And you're willing to endure the loneliness that comes with waiting for that kind of depth. And here's the fifth trait, the one that might be the most powerful and the most isolating. You've learned that being alone is not the same as being lonely. And you've stopped letting the world convince you otherwise. Loneliness is painful. It's the ache of wanting connection and not having it, the feeling that something essential is missing. But solitude is a choice. It's the quiet satisfaction of your own company, the freedom to move through your day without negotiating your needs against someone else's expectations. You've discovered that you can be completely alone and completely at peace. That a Saturday night at home isn't sad, it's sacred. That not having plans isn't a failure, it's a luxury. And the moment you stopped equating aloneness with loneliness, the moment you stopped performing social engagement to prove you were okay, something shifted. You became unreachable by the world's definition of what a good life should look like. And that, more than anything, is what makes people uncomfortable about you. So if you're someone who has few or no close friends, if you've spent years wondering what's wrong with you, if you've ever felt like you're failing at some fundamental human requirement, listen to me. You are not broken. You are not defective. You are not missing some essential piece of the social puzzle. You are someone who has chosen quality over performance, depth over convenience, and authenticity over approval. And yes, that choice comes with a cost. It means quieter days. It means fewer names in your phone. It means moments when the world looks at you with concern or pity, and you have to hold steady in the truth that they don't understand. But it also means this: when you do connect, it's real. When you do love, it's without pretense. When you do show up, it's because you genuinely want to, not because you're afraid of what your absence might say about you. You're not a late bloomer waiting for your social life to catch up. You're a deeply rooted tree that refuses to bend towards shallow soil. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what the world needs more of. People who know the difference between loneliness and solitude. People who choose peace over performance. People who understand that being alone doesn't mean being less. It just means being whole in a different way.